well, one half of the world's richest, most powerful couples for almost 3 decades. But now, after navigating the end of her marriage to Microsoft founder Bill Gates, her new book, The Next Day, is sharing her story of coping with all sorts of change. And she joins me now. It's really good to see you. Thank you for coming in this morning. The next day, it says, transitions, change and moving forward. You've had such a lot of change in your life recently. You know, obviously with the divorce, being a grandmother and just, you know, forging your own way. What do you hope that people will take from the book?
I hope that they take away that in these times of transition, some of which can be difficult at times, if you pause in what I call that clearing, there is so much to learn.
Right, and you have learned a lot. And you do talk in the book about the divorce and how difficult it was, because it is, and heartbreaking it was. Even though it's one of those things, isn't it, Melinda? Even if you know it's the right thing to do, and it was for you, of course it was, it's still not easy.
It's not.
You can't just, you know, turn off your feelings.
And the only reason I even wrote about it was because so many other people, unfortunately, go through it.
Yeah.
And I thought my friends and some writers and my therapist, I'd gotten some good advice that perhaps would smooth the way for others. But it's hard.
Because you did listen to your friends. You know, you obviously, I think it's really important to do that. And I think as women, we are better at sharing our feelings in that sense. But you need that backup. Just, it's that thing of, you know you're doing, it's that what I said before, you know you're doing the right thing, but you just need to be told you are sometimes.
You have to have somebody who holds perspective in your life, I think, during any transition. And that even though you're going through anything difficult, there will be something beautiful on the other side.
Because you write in the book, you say that you were having nightmares about your situation. And I think a lot of people can identify with that as well. It's that thing of your brain is so busy going through all of your options, no matter what it might be. And that's a hard thing to deal with too.
It is. It is. And sleep is so important.
Absolutely.
Right?
To make you be able
all of us.
Yeah, and to be able to think clearly. You know, that's the thing. And you know, having a fortune or having money and all of this thing, it doesn't cushion you.
It does not.
From
Human
the hard things
emotions, and part of why I wrote the book is for people to understand we all have beautiful and difficult emotions. And if we can surround ourselves with good friends, if we're lucky enough, which I was to have a therapist, if we can reach for beautiful readings, it can help lift us up and we can learn and grow in that time of transition.
Exactly, and I think that's a lot of people forget when they're in the middle of it, that sometimes actually just take a breath. Just take a breath and you're going to be all right. It's going to be all right. You really have forged your own way, concentrating, not exclusively, but concentrating a lot on women and girls and education of girls. That's something you're really passionate about. And you don't need to do it, though. You don't need to, but you do.
But I do, because if I'm lucky enough to be in the position I'm in, and believe me, I realize I'm privileged, but I have 2 daughters and a son, and I have 2 granddaughters now.
Right.
And I want the world to be better for them when they go out into society. And so my main mission is, how do we help young girls and women really step into their full power? And how do we right society a little bit to make that a bit easier than it is?
Exactly. And what can we do? I mean, you can obviously do incredible initiatives and all of that, but you know, you can't do it on your own.
Of course
Even you,
not.
You can't do it on your own.
It takes we all need to be on the mission of how do we make society better? How do we role model for girls and boys what strong moms look like, or strong working moms? And how do we role model women can be anything in society? A broadcaster, a politician, right? A storyteller. I think when young girls can look up and see lots of archetypes for women, just like young boys look up and see archetypes for men, lots, you start to have a bit more equality. And what I do know from around the world is it lifts up everybody, not just women.
Of course it does. The internet gets criticised a lot. There's also amazing things that it can do. You know, there is this balance. But I think being a kid now, because of social media, because of all these things, it is tougher, isn't it? It is harder. And it's that thing of, I'm sure you're exactly the same, that you don't want your children to be on their devices all the time.
Totally.
You know, they can be on it, of course, it can be a great educational tool, but it's trying to get a balance is really hard, isn't it?
It's very hard. And I talk a little bit about the fact that I raised my oldest daughter, and when she went through middle school and high school, it was very different than when my youngest, 6 years later, because of the advent of social media. And I had to have really good boundaries on that, and I didn't always get it right. These things are changing quickly, and it's hard.
No, it really is. But I mean, if someone like yourself finds it difficult too, it's just all about, I guess it is just all about trying, talking to each other. I got the message very strongly from the book that, you know, it's about transition and change and all of that. But basically, we need to talk to each other. And whether we're talking to each other face to face, which is the best way, or on our devices, communication.
We need each other.
Yeah.
We need the connectivity, the direct in-person, whether it's through a walk or a tea or visiting somebody. We need one another. It's tough in society. And I think sometimes we can be ruggedly independent and step back and say, I've got this. No, no, no. One of the things I learned in my transitions is, boy, did I need my friends.
Yeah, that's the main thing, isn't it? It's exactly that. Do you find, though, I mean, does it get tiresome when people are always saying, I've got this great idea, or I've got this great project, could you finance it? Do you get that all the time? Or do you, because that must be, how do you, you know, as someone, you can do amazing things, but how do you prioritise and make sure that, you know, the money and the support and all of that is going to the right thing to make the best of it?
Well, one of the things I do is I will put out a call. So on women's health,
right,
we do not do enough research on women's health.
No, we don't. We've done that on this show.
Yes,
yeah.
And women are
The
disproportionately affected.
Yes.
47% difference between women and men in terms of how disease affects us.
Yeah.
So I'll put out a call and I'll say, look, I'm going to put up $250 million and make a call around the world, and then we will vet all the proposals that come in. And I have a team, a panel of outside experts, and then we will decide and say, these are the ones that we think deserve funding because we haven't funded enough on menopause, or we haven't funded enough on maternal health or depression.
Sure. And it changes lives.
I hope it does, but it absolutely does.
It must be an amazing thing to be able to do that. And again, you don't need to. This is what I keep saying, you don't. But you do. It's the, you know, you've got that drive inside you that wants to actually make the world a better place for your daughters and your granddaughters.
Yes, and I grew up, my parents sent me to an all-girls Catholic school, and the nuns taught us that one person can make a difference in another person's lives. And they sent us out to the school and the courthouse and the hospital. And so I grew up with that. And so if I have this position, I hope to do it for many people.
Oh, it's fantastic. Thank you so much for coming in, Melinda. The Next Day is out now.
Yeah.
Of course it is. The Next Day. Transitions, change and moving forward. Melinda French Gates, lovely to see you. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you, Lorraine.
Great to see you.